This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting, FLSD policy 0165.1. Please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a volunteer to read our mission and vision?
I'd be happy to read it.
Go for it.
Our mission is to foster academic and social growth for each student in a safe, supportive school environment. Our vision is to be a learning community that inspires our students and staff to think critically, grow intellectually, and live with integrity.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 3, additions to and approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I will move.
One second.
Okay. Do we need to discuss the agenda? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Moving on to item 4, approval of minutes for the regular meeting of January 16th, 2024, and the special meeting on February 1st, 2024. Do I have a motion?
I will move.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes? All right,
So,
all those in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. All right, item number 5. Eddie, are you going to
All
present?
right, yes I am. So the Board of Education, I believe it's quarterly. We have our staff members that we recognize who are nominated by other staff members for outstanding work in our school district, and the Board of Education just wants to recognize 2 of those staff members today. The first staff member was nominated by I'm going to pronounce her name incorrectly.
Taya.
Taya McIntosh, or McIntosh, and she writes, Kayla is always willing to go the extra mile to make sure that students feel safe, seen, and heard. In a recent unit she was doing, she had students who rarely engaged in activities and showed little interest, creating entire raps from scratch and even creating music videos to go with them. She allows the students to have a space to believe in themselves and show their unique abilities in ways that make them special to the classroom. This is Kayla Gaines. And
I'd like to see some videos of that.
Yes, I can show you another route. Thank you.
Kayla, if you'll stay up here and we'll get
Yeah.
a picture.
thank you. And we'll get a picture with the next person.
Yeah.
Okay, this next staff member was nominated by Sarah
Yes.
Diaz, and she writes, Molly always has a smile on her face, waiting to greet her students and colleagues. I constantly see how engaged her students are with the unique lessons that she has planned for them. These lessons incorporate and embrace PBL and circles, making her a true reflection of Finneytown's mission. Molly Prophet. I guess so.
Here.
Thank you. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay, moving on to item 6, OSBA Student Achievement Fair 2023.
So yeah, Jalecia had kind of set this up and Foster it made a connection, and then our art department, who is represented here today, got together a collection of work that was showcased at the OSBA conference, and we wanted to bring them here to share it with all of you and recognize our students, some of who are here, some who are not. But with that, I will turn it over to Julie Fickey and Carolyn Althoff.
Is it on now?
Yeah.
So on the screen back here is a presentation of the artwork that was on display at the OSBA for their Student Achievement Fair. This is a print by Aidan Portman. Okay. Oh, you got that? Okay. I'll give you this too. All right. A grid enlargement pencil rendering by Akira Trim. A watercolor self-portrait done by Akira Trim. A oil pastel portrait done by Alish Mahi. Another grid enlargement pencil rendering by Ashish Ray. Watercolor self-portrait by Ashish Ray. A ceramic relief tile done by Ben Page.
Who is represented by his parents, I believe. So here's the certificate.
And a ceramic mug done by Ben Page. A watercolor self-portrait by Chastity Williams. A linocut print done by Karina Summers. Watercolor self-portrait by Dominic Shaw. This is a gym shoe self-portrait. So this is done through symbols which represent special interests of the student who created it, by Aaron Walton. Another mug done by Gabby Roki. This was part of Gabby Roki's art seminar piece. It was a small little sculpture, and the hangers hung different pieces of paper which represented part of her self-portrait. An abstract painting done by Ingrid Salyers. Another watercolor self-portrait by Isaiah Lugo. Another print. These are done with linoleum. If you're not familiar, they get a piece of linoleum that they then have to carve. And then what's left, what's printed, is the remaining part of the linoleum. This one's done by Jacob Steele. This was done in digital art, correct? So this is a digital art piece by Jaden Moulton. Another digital art piece created by Kingston Green. Another gym shoe self-portrait done by Lamaria Pope. This is a digital art piece done by Michael, how did you pronounce the last name? Pariyar, Michael Pariyar. A colored pencil rendering done by Paige Fickey. Paige, do you want to come get it? It's taken from the film A Clockwork Orange, if you don't recognize it. You can hug her. He was trying to get it. Sure. Okay, thank you. This is a color wheel done in 7th grade by Piper Sita. A fiber piece done with wool felt by Saray Roach. A perspective colored pencil and Sharpie rendering done by Trinity Phillips. Here is another work by Trinity Phillips. It's the felted piece. So this is all done with pieces of wool that you stab into felt to create an image. a ceramic tile created by Unisha Ray, and an aluminum mask created by Unisha Ray, and a digital art portrait by Wyatt Brooks. I think he's over. Isn't he with you? Okay. They have play practice tonight, so. And that concludes our presentation.
Can't say enough about our art department. These two ladies, as well as Meg and Kelly, give so many of our students an opportunity to express themselves and their talents. And so just kudos to you guys. There will be more. We just got, it was just shared with us, our Scholastic Art Award winners. And so that will be coming to social media soon. But yeah, so thank you both, and definitely Megan as well, for all you guys do.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item 7, administrative report.
All right. So a few things I wanted to share. The Art Awards was one. Those will be shared soon, social media, but 23-24 Scholastic Art Awards, we had a lot of talent, a lot of talented students, and great facilitation of that art, so more to come there. We did, just today on social media, our Stronger Connection invitation went out. So anybody in the community who have future Wildcats, which would be students ages 3 to 5 who will be entering kindergarten next year or in the future years, we are trying to create connections with those families now. And so we have 2 sessions coming up. One is on March 14th. We have a morning session and an evening session. And then the second session is April 4th. And there's a morning session, evening session too, trying to give families the opportunity to attend based on their individual schedules. But during those times, we will focus on creating good habits and learning habits for our families, talk about early literacy, social emotional development, and self-help skills that we want our students to, that we can start fostering now so that when they get to kindergarten, they're ready to learn. And so, and then the second session on April 4th will be about what it means to be a kindergarten parent, how to enroll, all those pieces of information. So looking forward to that. We did have a great turnout and a great success with our early childhood care providers at the end of January, so we're excited about that.
Awesome.
So we're hoping there is an RSVP just so we can plan accordingly for food and refreshments. So, but we look forward to hosting our future families. In addition, I did want to share we attended the conference this past weekend, or end of last week. We did facilitate a roundtable during the conference. We had people from Oregon, San Diego, Washington. Kathy McFarland, who is the executive director of OSBA, was in attendance. We met her prior to our conversation, and she showed up for us, which was awesome, and was a part of our conversation and made a connection and offered any future support she could provide. So that was pretty great. We also had the opportunity to listen to other people in conversations about the things that are important in public education, equity. AI was a big topic. We did not spend a lot of time around the AI topic, but it was highly represented there. So it was a great experience. Lots of vendors, lots of networking. A lot of people from Ohio were there, including Tom, who's doing our strategic planning. So, yeah. So, but it was a great time. We really appreciate the board support so that we could attend that and share our work. So, we also are currently working on residency. I wanted to share this with the board. And residency has been kind of, for lack of a better word, unclear. And so Kathy McNair and Patty Schnurr, as well as Carol and Meredith, have been working together with me to kind of revise and modify and get clear guidance on enrollment and residency. And so we've also consulted with Jason on this work just to make sure that we're consistent and clear. And so we have new administrative guidelines mapped out, and those will go into effect next school year. We will have some families receiving a letter that say, we suspect that you no longer reside in Finneytown, and that in order for your child to be enrolled next year, we need these additional proof of residency. So I just wanted to share that with the board, because there might be questions, there might be some pushback, but we feel that it's necessary in order to be accountable for the taxes we receive and how we use them, and we're not open enrollment right now, so I just wanted to share that work with the board.
Can I ask a quick question about that?
Yeah.
So is it to have steps in place to better verify residency, or is it like an expansion of who would be considered a resident, or is it a mixture of both, or in different cases?
So I think for us, it is the way the administrative guidelines had been written were things that were incredibly loose and could be very easily forged and not authenticated. And so we were trying to pick proofs of residency that were consistent with other districts as well as with law. And so that's what we work to do. So it includes a copy of a lease, a deed, or a mortgage, or a tax bill is one requirement. The other requirement is a utility bill, something that's attached to a home in that person's name to show that they live and reside in Finneytown. I'll share those once Jason's doing a final review of them, and then I'll share them with you guys. So, and then I think that is it for me, unless you have a question.
So I know you and I had talked on the residency thing before. I'm a big fan of consistency and clarifying, and it feels like that's exactly what we're doing. Nothing is really changing. It's just more of, here is specifically what we're looking for going forward, and it's much more clear. I think that that's going to be a big help for the district. So I appreciate that work.
And we did draft, and I'll share those 3 letters based on 3 various circumstances that we regularly see. And Jason has provided some of that language as well. And so I'll provide those draft letters to you all. And then once we get that finalized documentation, that'll be uploaded to the website on our enrollment page for guidance. And we'll still do it through final forms, but that will allow families to know ahead of time what is required. So.
Great. And thank you for representing us at the conference.
Yeah. We appreciate the opportunity to do. That's good.
You make us proud.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Okay. Moving on to item 8, which is public address. I have one public address request, so I am just going to read the top part to make sure we are all clear. The board believes it is in the best interest and the best interests of the students of the district to hear comments from members of the public. It has been, therefore, a long-standing practice of the board to encourage and allow residents to speak at the public meeting. This may be done by completing the bottom portion of this form and giving it to the board president prior to the board meeting. The following guidelines ensure that anyone interested in addressing the board may do so, and that board conducts the business of the school district in an effective and efficient manner. Number 1, attendees must register their intent to participate in the public participation portion of the meeting upon their arrival at the meeting by completing this form and returning it to the board president or presiding officer. 2, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. 3, for the public record, each speaker addressing the board must state their name, address, and group affiliation if and when appropriate. Any material or handouts must be presented to the treasurer for record. 4, the naming of individuals, profanity, abusive language, and speeches that invade individual privacies will not be tolerated or permitted. 5, the board will take no action regarding matters or issues presented through public address in the meeting in which the public address was made. All necessary follow-ups will be made verbally or in writing at a later date. Okay.
Hi, my name is Michael Hamill. I live at 8532 Brent Drive. And again, good evening, and thank you for letting me speak here tonight. What I have to say is nothing new for most of you, but I am going to continue to make the request as often as I can. I am asking again for you, the board, to do the right thing. the moral thing, and remove the gender-neutral label from the bathrooms at the elementary school and replace it with the correct and accurate label of boys and girls bathrooms. I know how this can be done and accomplished fairly soon. After talking with the lead architect of the secondary school project, he assured me that their group does not adhere to the same ideas that bathrooms should be labeled anything other than boys, girls, men, or women. So when the secondary school has a final plans in place, I believe that new plans for the K-6 bathroom arrangement can be drawn up at that time, and construction can happen over the summer. There are some of you who disagree with the old-fashioned idea that there are only two genders. I am not alone in this belief. In fact, in the Bibles that you all have at your disposal, the message is repeated and supported many, many times. Male and female was the biology that God taught us, and about male and female are what he confirms to this day. Some of you believe that this bathroom configuration is 100% safe. I disagree. Nothing is 100%. Sure, it is designed for K-6. It is floor-to-ceiling enclosure, and that means nothing to the student or adult that wants to use the facility to do drugs. That means nothing to the adult, or should we say minor attracted person, because that is the new name for pedophilia, that has the power and the will to find some way to interfere with a child's ability to leave that restroom against their will. Safe from bullying? Let me tell you, bullying has just moved. What about the student who has been cyberbullied or just bullied in general and is now using the facility to barricade themselves in the bathrooms? What about the cutter? They can now hide completely behind the door. Gender neutral is not an idea or a way to teach our kids. There is nothing scientific about it. There's nothing that proves that they are born that way. This is just a way to begin the pattern of confusion at a very young age by people, mostly adults, that most kids absolutely look up to, trust, and look for truth. Yuval Noah Harari, who's a scientist, made it very clear not so long ago when he said, science is not about truth, it is about power. And this power is completely taken from the humanist doctrine, and it is at its finest. So I thank you again, and I do look forward to hearing from you.
Okay. Item 9, review of action steps from last month. All right. Athletic budget, band budget information as compared to other schools. I think you're working with Jamie on that.
Yeah, I have passed out a preliminary version with 6 of the 8 school districts in our league report.
Is that in our binders here, or is that?
No,
It
it's
was
just
not
passed
possible.
out. It's in
It
the
may be
state
under your,
copy.
under your grant
I
application.
have it here
maybe?
somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make sure he gets his copy. Is there anything you want to say on it, or no? Okay, cool. We can mark that one as complete. Thank you. I know that was a lot of
I'm
work.
glad you put that together, Dave, and I appreciate that because it's something that I've wanted, but I was nervous to ask you because I knew it would take you some time. Appreciate that you did it.
Sure,
Yeah,
thanks.
I realize it's a lot, so thank you. Follow up with Tom on the status of the final treasurer and superintendent job descriptions. Those were sent out, and those were the final copies. I believe we had no issues with the treasurer. We had already talked to the superintendent before. We're seeing them as complete, unless you guys have anything else to add. Okay,
Sounds good.
perfect. Follow up with Tom on the strategic plan, community input session, feedback, and next steps. So I did meet with Tom. We had a decently long meeting about the strategic plan. We talked through all of the data that you guys received, I believe in the board update emails from Laurie. This is essentially the big report of all the work that they've done. It is not saying what the plan is yet. It has some ideas. There's some key topics. You can see, I think he included the word banks. We had looked at, you could see the words that were the common words and themes. He was really excited. I know it looks like it was really low participation in the surveys from the community, but it was actually comparative to other communities. It was very high. So our number, it may seem low if you look at the number itself, but he doesn't normally get any participation. So he was really excited by that.
After like 266
Yeah, I think he said it was over 300 by the end. I don't remember the final number. Anyway, so it's the 32 pages. Feel free to keep looking through that, bring us questions, and then hopefully by the end of the month, if we can discuss having a working session, we can discuss the strategic plan in more detail at that point. They're putting all of the stuff together to have a draft or some ideas for us. And he said by the end of the month he should have that. We are on track, kind of ahead of schedule compared to what we had said originally.
So the time for discussion about this would be at that meeting?
I would,
necessarily for
yeah, I
if
mean,
questions or things?
if you want me to talk to him personally about some things or get him in contact with you guys, that's fine. But he'll have more at that time for sure. So.
I think kind of the main thing, I spoke with you about this briefly because I talked to you a couple weeks ago, was looking at the data from our staff. And I think my main concern was just that we don't get a whole lot of staff data points. And since it's in our board policy that we can't speak to staff members directly about, except just incidentally, about things that are related to the district. So this is kind of other than just observing or hearing through the grapevine from parents, it's really the only information I've really had from staff member about like what their experiences have been. So one of the concerns that I did have, and this is something I don't know how we can get from Tom, because the idea isn't to look at the individual responses, but when I look at it, I just like the very last, or the second to last page, 31, I see support and I see 23% negative, and then I see receive 33% negative, and I look at this and I sort of read, staff is saying they are not receiving support. And I don't know if that's actually what their answers were, so I don't know if there's some way that Tom can better summarize that. Support from whom? I don't know. I'm really happy that they're not saying negative things about students, according to this little info chart, but it looks like they are saying negative things about receive and support, and those were things that were concerning to me, especially considering the staff's union presence a couple meetings ago. So I know that some things were addressed and things have changed, but I was definitely a little concerned that maybe they don't feel like they're receiving support. I don't know what that support is or what support they would need or want, but that was just a concern that I did have from this. Maybe that's not even what the survey says, but for me it looks like it's saying that that's what they're saying. At least a third of them are saying that.
Yeah. So I think there's a few different things here. As far as the strategic plan goes, how do we want to build in supporting our staff? Maybe the way to go in that discussion with Tom.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen with the strategic plan is they're going to have the draft, we're going to go through it ourselves and decide if we like it, what we want to change and such, and then we're going to work on the action steps for that strategic plan. So there's still a lot more work to go in that direction. The other side of it, though, is too, this is data that we can use for other things, not just for the strategic plan. And then I think if you take this and combine it with what Lori had sent us, I don't remember the name of it. It was like the one that Jamie asked for, December-ish timing. There was a survey.
The survey we sent out around collective efficacy.
Yes, that one. Between those two surveys, I think we're getting a little bit more insight, and maybe we need to look at it and see if we need to adjust something, or support our admin in finding solutions to something that is missing. And those are conversations that we can have in our working sessions. Sure.
I guess the other possibility would, I mean, Tom's done this survey a lot of times. Maybe this is just normal for any school.
It could be.
You know, so
We will find out
we'll
during
have
our
to-
working
we'll have to
session.
talk, yeah.
Should we plan the working session now, or do we plan the working session later?
Let's cover that in the board coordination matters.
All right.
We're supposed to be on the action steps. So
sorry about that.
This is kind
I
of,
had a
it
quick
covers
little
it.
question about that.
Okay.
Yep, so, but that means that number 3 is complete as well. So we're 3 for 3 so far. Going pretty good. Board topics for the February 1st special meeting or working session, that one is complete. We had the meeting. Sympathy cards on behalf of the board.
Those were sent.
Perfect. The Ohio School Design Manual link to board members.
That was sent.
Yep. Monthly boardwalk signups. Yes. And then meetings beginning with the president and me and Dr. Banks. That is done as well. We started meeting on the 12th. So out of 8 follow-ups from last month, we are done with all of them. All right, moving on to board coordination matters. Let's go ahead and start with looking at our calendars for a working session.
Yes.
make sure it works for Jamie too, since he's not here.
Yeah,
I
he
did-
just gets to miss out. I roughly know his hockey schedule, but sorry, he's not here.
I did talk to Jason, just letting him know
Okay.
we might want him
Yes.
to attend the next meeting, and he said if possible, Monday or Tuesday would work best for him.
Oh,
He said Wednesdays and Thursdays aren't so great.
thanks, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. Our meeting for the board is March 18th.
So we're
Correct.
looking at the week of the 4th.
So,
ideally.
yeah, the week of the 4th. If I have to choose between a Monday and Tuesday, I know Tuesday would be the better day for Jamie. So that is fine for me.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a better day for me. The Monday would be better for me.
Monday would be better?
Monday's better for me.
We
It's
have
also a
personnel
staff-in,
meeting,
it's a
don't we?
staff-in service for Finneytown on Monday. I don't know if that affects your schedule, Laurie, but
No, the 4th should work fine.
if anything, that might make it
That
even
might
better
make it
because
easier.
you have staff-in service anyway, and I don't know if that makes a difference to you.
We have a personnel meeting on that
Well,
Tuesday, correct? Or
Personnel
Wednesday?
is supposed to be on the Wednesday, but I was talking to
Beyond
Laurie, and
differences
I
is
don't
on
think
Tuesday as well.
We might reschedule.
I'll be on
because Eddie
differences
can't
is
be at the
Tuesday.
personnel.
The
Yeah,
personnel?
we might be rescheduling the personnel because I have a field trip with my students.
Oh,
on that
okay.
day.
Okay.
But we could always slip that in.
So the 4th, though, does that sound like a good day, 4th for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Do we have a time that is required?
The earlier the better for me.
Yeah, that's always how I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can always do as early as 3:30.
I know you have.
If
to
it
go
is,
downtown.
Mondays I'm at home actually, so it works a little bit better and my job description has changed. So for me, I don't think I'm the constraint. It would be more of probably Jamie coming from downtown.
Or Seth, I don't know what time you.
Does that
are
work for
I
typically
think
you guys?
available.
6 generally
make it.
seems to be the,
I can make,
However
whatever time it
best,
is, I
but-
can make it happen.
Okay.
And
fine.
Lady?
okay.
So 6.
Yeah, let's go with 6.
Okay.
All right, so to recap, that is
Maybe we put on the personal before, Mr. Oliver.
Monday, March 4th, 6 p.m.
That'd be my preference, is to do it all again. Probably longest too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for a new action item, Lori and I will continue to grab topics. If anyone has anything in particular that you want to talk, please reach out. Let us know. We have a few ideas already on our mind.
Awesome.
Which, just the turnaround's pretty quick, so in terms of Latora getting the agenda together and getting everything posted, we really need topics by next end of the day, probably next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
At the latest.
Okay.
And-
This is toppings for, is it toppings?
For the working
Topics for
session.
next month?
Yes.
These are
The
topics
4th.
for the special meeting.
And are we calling it a work session?
Yes, so we have talked to Jason about it a little bit, just to make sure that we're following compliance. The agendas cannot be adjusted at the meetings, because we did not set them as meetings at our organizational meeting. Okay. Does anyone want to go first?
I'll start.
Sure.
I'll start. It was a busy month for me. I attended a virtual conference meeting, a planning committee meeting virtually last month. It was a small group of board members from different parts of the state. It was nice to know that Finneytown was represented. Kathy McFarland facilitated that as well. I also attended another meeting. It was the Future of Public Education. It was a small group of board members that were selected by the OSBA. That was also impactful. Lots of the same topics, AI, all of that was discussed. A lot of concerns within, the districts of other districts with board members. So it was nice to just network with other people and engage with, some other issues going on in other districts. Let's see what else. I would also like to share that I was invited and interviewed and selected to be a part of School Board Partners, Cohort 6. This is a year-long fellowship. It consists of 98 different board members from across the country. 76 districts, 2.2 million students are represented. 80% of us are people of color. And there's 28 states represented, so we meet weekly and we kind of discuss things that are going on in our districts. We network with one another, so it's been nice to kind of connect with other board members. I've talked with people from like Boston to Atlanta to Massachusetts. It's been all over, so it's been nice to discuss things with other board members who are in leadership roles. So Also, let's see, moving on to primary PTA. Our next meeting will be March 6th at 7 o'clock. We have a Black History celebration coming up, so it's a free event for all families to enjoy. We'll have pizza, brisket, all kinds of fun activities, live music. So if you can show your support, come out and celebrate Fennytown's diversity, that will be awesome. We're also selling buddy cards through the end of February, so get those buddy cards. They're $10 each, and the PTA receives $5 for every buddy card that is sold. So very impactful fundraiser. Secondary PTA, Seth attended that last month. I will be attending on February 27th, and that meeting starts at 7. I did attend Beyond Differences Finneytown. That was a very impactful meeting, one of the better meetings that I think I've ever been to. It wasn't all glitz and glam. There were a lot of things that were discussed, that I've discussed with Laurie, that need to be addressed. But overall, very impactful meeting. If you're looking to get involved, or if you have a background in diversity, equity, and inclusion, we invite you to come out and share your feedback and concerns. So thanks to Scott Meyer and Kelly Lynch for facilitating those meetings. And that next meeting is March 5th at 7 o'clock. FMPA, I attended that meeting as well last week. It sounds like a lot of the educators attended OMEA, which is a continuing education for our music instructors. Students are getting ready for their spring concerts, which is exciting. The students are learning new music, they're growing. Voices of Harmony will be performing on May 10th at Florence Yall Stadium, which is an amazing opportunity for our students. Thanks to Ms. Fields for facilitating that. As I mentioned, band students are progressing, getting better every day. We have some other events coming up. They have the butter braids they're selling on Monday, February 26th through March the 12th, which is exciting. And they need volunteers for that, so reach out to Maggie Laird if you're interested in helping with that. March 28th, Jay Gumbo's Dying to Donate. April 13th, they're having another mattress sale, so buy your new mattress and stop sleeping on those hard mattresses like me. April 27th, they're having a spaghetti dinner at Finneytown Elementary. They will need volunteers for that as well. They are planning a car wash in May and a bunch of other events, so keep an eye out for ways that you can help. I did meet with Laurie last, I think it was earlier this month. Yeah, we had she was nice enough to show me around the secondary campus, which was awesome. So I will be attending the Black Excellence Celebration at FE on February 23rd. I don't know if anybody else will be attending that.
It's the boardwalk.
It's the boardwalk.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, it's
I am
this
not
Friday.
attending this one.
No? Okay. I guess I'll be attending that alone, so I will have an update once I attend that. That's my update.
I would attend, but I have work. I have to few of my students.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right,
I'd be happy to go next.
go for it.
Quick question, Seth. I can't remember from our very first board organizational meeting. Did we choose someone to be a liaison to the Finneytown Alumni Network? No, it's. Are you that liaison?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to. I'll skip that comment. I've been just reading about it, so I assumed you were going to share about the meeting later this month. So I was just excited about it as an alumni, but I could not remember if we chose someone specifically for that, or if the foundation and the alumni network were two separate.
No, the foundation and the alumni network.
We're all one. Okay,
Yes,
I could not recall if it was a slash. Perfect. Then I will share a little bit about the township. So in front of each one of you, you have a residential incentive grant application. This would apply to anybody that lives in Springfield Township and also works in Springfield Township. You can apply to get back a small amount of the local, it's not actually I think it's local tax dollars that were taken out. So if you look on your W-2, you'll see like local tax. And for us board members, it's $22. So if you want your $22 back, you can fill out the form. It is more difficult than getting on the ballot and to be on the board because you have to give them like everything with like all your different proofs of residency and everything. But if you want your $22 back, you can drop it off in person up at the township offices. But that would go for anybody. Those aren't due till September 2nd for anyone else who is listening.
You might have more than us.
What?
They might
Yeah,
have
someone that
more
has
on
more
the
money to
taxes
give
than the
back. But for me,
$22.
$22 is $22 regardless. So that's a tax to help incentivize development in our district. Anyway, I was not able to attend the Board of Trustees meeting, but I did watch the recordings, and I did have a conversation with Chris Gilbert another time about a different topic. But I did, in the meeting and my conversation with Chris Gilbert, he was excited to share that there's funding coming for a whole bunch of street projects in the township. He shared at the meeting that they put in an application, or they put the project up for bid purposefully earlier than most of the rest of the municipalities in the county, in order to kind of get the jump on getting the bids out and hopefully get the tax dollars that we have as small as possible and more out of our grant. And there are going to be 14 streets that are going to be being repaved in the township, according to Township Administrator Chris Gilbert. And some of those streets might include ones in the Cottonwood neighborhood, is what I've heard. But I don't think that he hasn't shared a full list of streets. But I know there's some pretty bad ones a couple streets over from me, so I'm hoping that those will be included. And it may even include curbs. Actually, he said that they probably would. So those that are interested, I think that is all that I have to share.
For the Finntown School Educational Foundation, they have an organizational meeting on February 26th at 7:30. We are trying to get as many alumni, or also people that have students that will be or have been alumni, the more involved as possible. It would be great. You can be involved by going to wildcatalum.org, and that is their website. It was the Finntown Alumni Network. They are reworking themselves as the foundation. And they're going to try to do great things on helping the district out with the fundraising for the upgrade of the gym, the PAC, and other things down the road. Scott Harmart is the gentleman that's been the president for a good time, and for a good term, sorry, and as well he's actually running to see if he's going to keep that spot on the 26th. So the more people that can come to this meeting will be right here again on the 26th at 7:30. Okay. And the secondary PTA, they are starting to gear up for the after prom as well.
Okay.
How's that for short?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sierra, I've had several meetings. We've already talked my meeting with Tom. I did start meeting weekly with Laurie, and I will say that I think that those are incredibly beneficial. I feel much more connected. I feel like it's building relationships, but it's also getting information, and I feel more aware about what's going on. And when I'm asked questions in the community, I don't question the answers as much because I've already talked most of the issues already. So I think they're helpful. Let's see here. FAA met just the other night. Not really anything big there. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the sports as we transition to spring sports coming up. The biggest news that I do want to call out is we have a new FAA president. Congratulations to Chris Statt on becoming the president. Good luck with the role, and thank you to Dave Bruder. You have worked tirelessly in that role, and your time has been appreciated for sure. And then outside of that stuff, I think those were the biggest things that I had. I didn't really have anything else to add. All right. We already talked the strategic plan update. We will discuss that in detail once we get more from Tom. If I can, maybe we can invite Tom to the meeting to discuss it as well. I know he wants to talk to the board about whatever we come up with. Just waiting on him to come back. And then we did have a board committee report from Beyond Differences Finneytown. They submitted their minutes, so they should be going up on the website and accepted now into record. Anything else for board coordination? All right. Moving on to item 11, which is the financial matters. We have the adoption of the consent calendar, which would need a motion. I will second. All right.
Okay, excuse me, the first time the monthly financial report. January 2024, our general fund, we had total revenues of $657,893. Fiscal year-to-date revenues in the general fund, $11,010,830. Expenditures in January were $1,483,689. And for the fiscal year, expenditures totaled $11,426,405. Our cash balance in the general fund at the end of January, $13,302,790. Item B, depository and investment balances as of January 31st, 2024. Our U.S. Bank operating account, $267,732. U.S. Bank Construction Fund, $3,680,433. Our Star Ohio operating account, $20,595,094. Star Ohio Construction Fund number 2, $3,219,619. Star Ohio Construction number 1, $1,164,816. And then our Star Ohio for our state share, $1,319,987. Item C, the interest earned on depository and investment accounts for January. General fund interest income was $99,771.53, and our construction fund interest income $20,583.11. Item D is the monthly bond project spending commitment report. That report looks a little bit different than last time. What I've added is the state share spending. And so this is not locally raised dollars, this is the money the state has been giving us, and so that does appear on here. And so what I've done is I've broken it up into a phase 1 and a phase 2. And probably the biggest thing you'll notice that's changed from prior reports is by this time we have spent, and this is towards the bottom of that first table, state share, if you see that second line from the bottom, we've spent $558,481 of state money on our project. So table 2 then does show open purchase orders, and again the big change from what we've seen in the past is again down looking at the state share. We have purchase orders that are open in the amount of $25,500 and $2,000. So we have spent a little bit of our money, but very little. Most of our money is spent in phase 1. There's a small share that we have to spend, and we really haven't spent much of that. Maybe, I think it's listed on here, I don't know, like maybe $13,000 is what it is. That's all we've spent so far on phase 2 out of local dollars. Okay, any questions? Okay, then item E is a recommendation to approve a payment to Hamilton County ESC for $63,391.11. And this is for some St. Vivian auxiliary service programming, supervision, psychology, nursing, counseling, speech and language, and instruction for this fiscal year. That would be all I have. Are there any questions?
Looks like no. Can we have a roll call vote?
Ms. McMillan?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Plout?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes. Item passes. All right, item 12, superintendent's recommendations. Do we have a motion for the consent calendar?
One motion.
And I'll second.
All right, Lori?
So item A and B are, well, item A is our 2 resignations. Item B, you'll notice, is a revision of contract. At the last regular board meeting, those were identified wrong, so we're revising those. They are corrected in my item D. And then item E, we have a group of staff members who are working to showcase our students at a art exhibit with actually Tony Gast had partnered with them to create that opportunity, and so they've been going down to set up that exhibit. And there will be, I think I have a video that the art department shared with me that I'll forward to you guys with the details of it. So, but that is to compensate for their time in prepping for that. Item F is our sub rates currently. And then we have our list of sub teachers there. Item H is approval of our overnight trip. Each year, we've been doing this for several years, but Mr. Bidet takes this group of students up to Mackinac for poetry and speech. It's speech, sorry. And then item I is approval. We enter a contract each year with Hamilton County DDS. What that essentially says is if we have a student who has significant needs that are beyond what we're able to provide here at Finneytown, that just sets up a open contract for us to send a student to one of their specialized schools. We have not had a student there in recent history, but we have since I've been here, and so we just keep that partnership open and going. And then item J is a resolution. Our renovations to the bids for the 100 building, we are rejecting all of them. They came in higher than we were hoping, and so we're going to do some more work on that, what we're asking for, the scope of it, and try again. So more to come on that. One of the other things that we wanted to share is, and I meant to have Grant come up and share a little bit during my administrative report, so I apologize, but we have $700,000 in our ESSER dollars that we set aside for this capital project. And so what we're going to do, as we shared at the last board meeting, we will be keeping the 100 building. And so initially, we were only going to do a section of the HVAC. Now we will be using that money, the ESSER dollars, to, as long as everything works out with the timing, to redo the HVAC for the entire 100 building. And so we're working on that currently. Those are kind of in process. So that part will be pulled out of that bid project. It'll be done as a separate standalone.
Can I ask real quickly, does that include the space that we're currently in? It would include this
Yes.
space, which could be renovated or divided up if it wasn't needed or
Yes.
whatnot? Okay.
Yeah, the plans in terms of the additional space
Yeah.
are still unknown at this time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
Intentionally unknown.
Yes. So, item K is approval for us going out to bid for the demolition of Brenton Whitaker. And then, we have two Ks. I just noticed
No, this
that.
one.
So that'll be L. Item L is acceptance of donations. The weight room equipment for Finneytown Local School District Athletic Department, valued at $25,499.01 from the athletic boosters. And so.
Some nice equipment.
It is
It's
very
really
nice equipment.
nice.
I'll share some pictures, but it is beautiful and great gift from the boosters for sure for our student athletes, so.
Any questions? All right, quiet tonight.
I know.
All right, can I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Plow?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. McCollum?
Yes.
Item passes. All right, moving on to item 13, review of action steps. I wrote down that I will work with Laurie on creating the agenda, making sure that we're ready for the meeting on March 4th at 6 p.m.
I will contact Jason and share that time and date with him. And then I assume we're going to meet here. Seth had asked, we'll plan for that work session to be here.
Yes.
Okay.
let's do
But
that.
we're not announcing in that, we're not confirming that time yet. It could still change, correct?
Correct. Let me just confirm with Jason
Yep,
that he can be
pending
here.
confirmation from
Great.
Jason.
Okay.
Okay. Any other action steps that I may have missed? All right. All right, moving on to item 14, the next regular meeting of the Finneytown Board of Education will take place on Monday, March 18th at 6:30 PM in the Media Center of the Finneytown Secondary Campus, 8916 Fountain Blue Terrace, Cincinnati, Ohio 45231. Open forum will begin at 6 PM. All right, do I have a motion for item 15, adjournment?
I'll move.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. We are adjourned.
The same thing as you, but I'm kind of out of it. and I wasn't. No, you and
Scott loves the one.
I'm planning on coming. No, I just know that there's a meeting on the 26th, so as long as I'm well and I'm able to come, I'll try to be there. But I